It makes it better. All right, let's get to the actual questions. We actually have a call this week, so let's we have a few, but let's get to the first one.
Hey guys, this is Morrison from the Velen server, and I wanted to comment on some of the things you guys have been saying about the flex race in the last couple of weeks. Now, with all due respect to Darius and Breach and the rest of you and everything you've accomplished as Raiders, I think it's kind of hard for you guys to appreciate what this is for those of us who can't be Raiders. I've been playing since mid-RAF, and my work schedule has never been consistent enough for me to be able to be on a raid team. I get 2 days off a week, but I never know when they are, and I never know how many nights or morning shifts I'm going to be working. Anywhere from 7 a.m. till 11 p.m., it kind of throws off a raid schedule. But I love getting to go into LFR, and I would absolutely love to get to go in and do some more realistic raiding. And Flex Raid is going to give a better opportunity to do that. I have plenty of battle tag friends that would love to pull me into a raid, but you can't pull somebody into current content raiding cross-realm. This will give me the chance to do that and get an experience in raiding. Sure, it may not be up to the level of a normal raid, or certainly not heroic, but for people like me, this is amazing, and I am super excited to get a chance to get in there.
Yeah.
That guy's awesome.
As always, great show. Thanks for everything you guys do.
All right. So
that guy is awesome.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I totally agree with all of his points.
That excites me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, what do you guys think about, for flex raids for non-raiders? Let's just talk about that for a second. Do you think, Colt, let's start with you. What did you think about that? Is this more of a comment thing, but, whatever.
No, sure. I'm jazzed, man. I'm jazzed hearing that because he's absolutely right. And I believe when we did discuss this, I think I even brought some of that stuff up, is that this is going to be great for those guys that aren't on a raid team, that don't have time to do it, that they can still get in there and do that. And like what he said is true. With flex raiding, you'll be able to fight these bosses kind of how they're supposed to be fought.
Right.
In LFR, it's essentially a Zerg fest. You kind of know the mechanics, but it's pretty much kind of a Zerg fest. And this is going to open up so many doors for him that he'll be able to do it with his buddies, with his battle tag friends, cross-realm, and be able to get in there and raid. And he's absolutely right, because not everybody has time to commit to a raid team, every single week. So I am just, it makes me so happy just hearing that. It's just like, that's going to be amazing for people in that situation. It's going to open up so many doors for them. So it just got me excited.
Darius, do you see, I know that you don't necessarily like flex rating for yourself or what it means for kind of those teams that are looking for more of a challenge, because there are some issues with loot and feeling like you have to do it and all this other kind of stuff. So from this perspective, can you at least see that and understand that that's part of the thought process?
Yeah, ultimately anything that gets more people playing the game and more people rating and more people enjoying it is a good thing for the game. Right. So if it means this guy and everyone like him are able to raid and they enjoy it and they do more and they continue to spend money, Blizzard will continue to put amazing content out, and that benefits everybody. So I am all for it.
Right. Well, and I think that this is going to really do a lot of good things for the community. I've been on this ever since I heard this. Plus the mention of virtual realms where they're going to fuse realms together, right? So ever since they announced both of those things, I've been extremely excited for what this means about the community of WoW. Not just gameplay, not just everybody going in and raiding, but what this means for being able to build up something that means something, that's meaningful for not just one player, but for a bunch of players together. And I think that flex rating is one of those things that is just, it's so cool that they are doing it this way, and that you can bring in people from other realms. You can bring in real ID friends if you have them on different servers, and that plus virtual realms is just really, really. I'm so jazzed for everything that could spell for the community. There's obviously some concerns, but I think that the overall effect is going to be really positive.
Yeah, and the community is why WoW will never die.
Right.
Community is why WoW will continue on forever. It's because it's what your friends are playing. It's what you're playing. It's what these relationships that you've made. Everyone's playing WoW. You know, new MMOs come out and they're great and all that, but everybody keeps coming back. And I think a big reason for that is because of the community.
Well, and the other thing too is that, and that kind of ties in with LFR, and we've been talking about, you know, LFR, and I know that we've gotten lots of letters, and actually, you know, the next one on our list is about this, so I'm just going to address this right now because I don't think we necessarily need to read the letter to know what it's about. But people have said, "Oh, you're so anti-LFR," and there's a couple of reasons why that I'm anti-LFR, but I am so pro flex raid right now. I am so for flex rating. I'm really excited for it because of the community aspect. LFR, there are a couple of problems with LFR that I have. Number one is that nobody is held responsible for their actions. You know, there's not like a community thing, and I know I'm kind of going off on a rant here, so please stop me if I'm too much. But
stop.
But there's no responsibility, and there's no sense of a group. It's all these individuals coming together to do something, but it's not. Do you guys feel that same way about LFR?
Darius?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's everyone is there just to do a job, and people don't care about anyone else there. It's this de-evolution of rating that I don't like about it. You know, it really is, I think, one of the more negative things they've added to WoW, and has forced a separation in the community.
Right.
Yeah,
I understand its need and the people that do use it to see content, but I don't think it's done anything good for the community.
It's an interesting thing, the difference of a normal, let's say, you know what? Let's say a flex raid group and an LFR group. The LFR group is about just killing the boss and getting it done. And you focus on the people that are screwing up, that are getting in the way of that happening.
Sure.
Right? Like, oh, you got a bad tank, we got a bad healer, or this healer's only doing this amount of healing, or the tank is tanking incorrectly. Whereas like a flex raid team, you're coming together to get that boss down.
Right.
For LFR, you're just focusing on who's keeping you from getting that boss down. I don't know if you see the difference. I don't know if I'm illustrating it, but yeah, there's a big difference there in the overall attitude when you encounter a boss. And it's the LFR way of thinking. And look, I love LFR because people get to see rating content, and I think that's amazing. People that couldn't do it before, that's great. But the mentality is just completely different. I don't think it's what rating is supposed to be. You know what I mean? As far as you're supposed to come together to defeat a foe, not defeat that foe no matter what, and then yell at whoever's getting in your way of doing it.
Right. Well,
you know what I mean?
And that's always kind of my thing is like part of the reason that this show exists, and part of the reason that we think that rating is so fun is not just because there's this awesome content out there and that the content should be king. No, I mean, this is about hanging out with folks, getting to know people, and being able to participate in other people's lives. I mean, that's how I look at it. And that's how I've always seen it. And I think that's probably why I have just fallen in love with this aspect of the game, is not because of the content. The content's cool, but you know, that's not what's holding me here. The people are what really are the most important thing to me. So I think I always kind of come at it from that aspect. And Darius, I know that you've done some hardcore stuff, and that seems like LFR is almost like the hardcore way of doing that. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
I guess. I mean, yeah, it does make sense. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing LFR, though. I don't want people to think that I hate LFR and it's terrible. I'm trying to be really careful as to what I say.
Right. I do think that LFR has had a purpose.
Yeah. No, I agree. It does. I just don't think it's the best solution.
What do you think about LFR versus flex rating? I mean, just those two things together, side by side, without any of the other crap, without any normals, without any heroics, side by side, which one would you prefer to run more and why?
Flex raids. And that's just because you get better community out of it. You have to play with people. You have to play with at least 10 other people or 9 other people. You have to communicate. You have to do what an MMO is designed 4, you have to interact in an intelligent way with other people. LFR doesn't foster any of that. LFR is just hit your buttons as hard as you can, and if someone screws up, yell at them.
Right. Colt, how about you?
Well, I know that sounds like what Darius just said, but that is kind of a reality. And if all of you listening can actually take a step back and actually look at that LFR and look at the chat, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
And it's not pretty, and it's not something that maybe some of us want to admit, but that's kind of what LFR is. That's kind of the environment that it's created.
And I was trying to strip away like all the other choices out there for people, and really try to make it so that we can compare them side by side to see which one we'd prefer.
Right.
And do you think flex rating is going to be more your style there, Colt?
Well, I think so, just because, the original idea of LFR is brilliant, that people get to see this content. There's a lot of people out there that have never seen the Lich King fight. Never seen it.
Right.
And if they have,
that's an
now
amazing fight, by the way.
It's, I think, one of the best fights ever created in all of World of Warcraft. Amazing. So cool. And also, I love that fight. I love Mimiron. But a lot of people never got to see that fight. For me, I barely got to see Yogg Saron until I was like much higher level. And I've never seen the Starman guy. I'm not talking about Jeff Bridges. I'm talking about, Algalon. Yeah. I still haven't seen that fight. So the idea of LFR, people getting to see this content and see this fight, is great. But I think what's happened is it's become so accessible. There's no more mystere over these bosses. There's no more mystere over the loot, over the gear.
Right.
You can get everything you want in a night.
Right.
In 1 week's time, you can clear all of the content. And I think, and we brought this up before, I think that could be some of the reason, maybe players getting bored, subscription numbers may be fluctuating, is because I can look just as epic as the guy next to me who's put in, 80 hours a week rating, and me, I cleared the whole thing in a week.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's a delicate balance, and we're not saying that. I don't think that anybody is here is bashing LFR too hard. I think that there are certain community things that are not right with it, that I don't particularly like, and there's a mentality of, I have to run LFR. Ugh.
Right.
There's that mentality, which I also don't like. For those guys that can't run normal raids, I understand why you want to be an LFR. I totally get it. And I think that flex rating will be one of those things that is going to come in that you guys that can't find a regular team are really going to love. Especially when it comes to the virtual realms, you'll always be able to find people on that you can group with. I mean, if everything works out the way that it should. So you should be able to find 10 people and not have to go, we only have 8. Guess what? You have virtual realms. You'll be able to plug in a couple of people if you need to and go run this stuff and have a good time. And I think that flex rating is going to hopefully take a stronghold in this game, because I just, I think the community needs it. I really do. So, and with that, we have to get out of here.
And with that, good night, everybody.
With that, we have like 10 questions. I only got to 1.
Right.
1.5, kind of.
Right. So,
but yeah, I mean, this is a hot topic right now, and this is really emotional for a lot of people, and I understand it. I get it. This is about how you have fun. We all want to have fun, and and this is a going to be an ongoing conversation, I think.
And that's great. Anything that moves the needle is good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like it that you as a listener are passionate about this, that you have strong opinions. I think that's great.
Yep.
It's a very, very good thing. So.
But I think that other than Darius, Colt and I are very excited about flex rating.
Absolutely. I mean, my goodness.
And I'm not saying, Darius, that you don't see where it fits into the plan.
I'm just not excited for it.
Right. You personally are not excited for it. So, and that's okay.
But that's good. We need to have differing opinions. This is a good thing.
We do, and we really need to get out of here. So let me start up this music, and we'll do some